You put rolls on, and you just push the pedals, and out comes this wonderful music. And I was able to, as soon as I could reach the pedals, I was allowed to have a go at it. But of course, my dad's choice of music, because he was quite a lot older than me, second marriage, so he was 40 when I was born. But it was Rachmaninoff, Prelude in C sharp minor. Da 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 tom bum bum. But I remember loving it.
Yeah.
I remember loving it. And a guy called Charlie Coons, a thing called Kitten on the Keys, which is really fast piano. And yeah, I really loved it. I used to play all of those. He had a big cupboard with all these rolls in, and I used to play through those.
I sure was watching TV this week actually and saw there's a museum somewhere in Herefordshire that's got all these pianos.
Oh, then?
Yeah.
It's
going to bug me now, the rest of the show.
Lovely
Yeah.
bit of kit,
Yeah.
as we would call it.
Yeah.
No, it's really good. That was my earliest memory, I suppose.
What was your first gig that you played at and went to?
It would have been in the church.
Yeah.
I got into Christianity when I was 15, 16,
Yeah.
and I joined the church. Had got a lot of teenagers there, and they had a band. In the 60s, you used to get these evangelical bands. You know, they draw the kids in, and then the elders would have a go at them. You know, they would have a go at them with the gospel.
Yeah.
So I joined that. So it would have been playing in a church, rhythm guitar.
Yeah. What about the first gig you went to?
Beach Boys.
Yeah.
Beach Boys at Hammersmith.
Wow.
That would have been 1966. I actually wasn't a big Beach Boys fan. I thought they were a girly band, you know. But by the time a friend of mine got me the tickets, they brought out Good Vibrations, which was just awesome, and Pet Sounds, a wonderful album. Yeah, it was a great time. I'm really lucky to have been a teenager in those years, you know.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
But as I say, the Beatles, that was the thing for me.
Yeah.
I can remember, you know, my local record shop wasn't a record shop, it was a shop that used to sell irons and televisions, but they also used to sell vinyl, and they used to tip me off. Well, I used to know when the Beatles single was being issued, and they used to get them in 3 days in advance, and they used to let me buy them. So I can still see me walking home clutching the green Parlophone sleeve and putting on my pink and white Dansette reticle player, Ticket to Ride, I Feel Fine, Help, not Help, Day Tripper, you know, before anybody else had heard of it. Can you imagine? That was just tremendous.
Did you ever get to see them?
No.
No.
No, I never got to see them. And I don't think I missed anything, to be honest. They weren't reputed to be much cop live, because obviously there were no PAs in those days.
Yeah. What's the best gig you've seen live at?
Well, there's different types of gigs, aren't there? Very often the best ones have been folk ones. You know, folk live I think is so much better than folk on record. Some real virtuosos, people like Robin and Barry Dransfield. I remember seeing them at Dartford Folk Club. They were great. I used to go all around London watching Steel Eye Span, Martin Carthy, people like that. But I think probably Genesis. I saw Genesis in '81, although it was after Steve Hackett had left.
Yeah.
Everybody goes on about Peter Gabriel leaving, but I actually think Steve Hackett was a bigger loss. I still buy all Steve Hackett stuff.
Yeah.
Love his stuff. Fabulous guitarist, great composer. And getting back to my classical theme, Tony Banks has written 2 wonderful classical albums, and he's just been commissioned to do a 15-minute classical piece for the Cheltenham Festival next year.
Wow,
Which would be good, yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. What's the best gig you've done?
In what respect?
You've played at, you've actually played.
What that I've enjoyed the most?
No, the best that you've actually been on stage and played. What would,
really follow you.
what would you say is the best gig that you have done as
That
an
I've
artist?
enjoyed the most?
No, well, yes.
All right. Or where I played my best?
Yes. Or
Well,
one
that
that
others
just...
to say, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Put me on the spot now. I suppose the best one for me is the one where I've made the least mistakes.
Or the ones that haven't been noticed.
Yeah. I really don't know. I tell you what, one I really did enjoy was playing at Westfest West Malvern has a festival every year, and I have done it solo, but we put a soul band together called Mama M, and in true to life, it rained for the whole thing. You know, we've got, I forget how many were in it now, 7-piece, 8-piece band.
Was this a couple of years back?
This was 2009.
Yeah.
And but it was great because we rehearsed for months and months and months. And I could be Steve Cropper, because I've been in one functions band playing soul and Tamla Motown where I was playing bass, because the guitarist was absolutely amazing, Dick Cadbury. But for this other one, I had to swap round, and I had a Stratocaster for an hour, you know, playing all this wonderful soul music from the 60s, all the Sam and Dave and the Otis Redding and the Blues Brothers stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that. Yeah. And I don't remember making any mistakes. So, yeah, I'll put that one down, I think.
Has there been a worse gig or a weird gig that you've done in your time?
Yeah. I'm not going to say where it was, but it's one where the audience was entirely wrong. I was playing a really good mixture. We played for actually 4 hours. I played it in a duo with a guy called Rob Murray Mason, who's an exceptionally good singer and drummer. And we played this pub, and there were 2 people there. And after 15 minutes they said, "Don't you know any rock and roll?" And I said, "Well, not really." And they got up and walked out, and then we played for another hour to nobody except the barmaid. Yeah. So that was the worst, really. Yeah. Yeah. But we played well. Yeah. And you know, but that's it really. I think I enjoy playing, but if there's nobody there and they're not appreciating it, then it's soul destroying.
Yeah. Are you an audience watcher when you're playing? You're watching the audience?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, as I say, because I know so many musician friends of mine say I worry too much. But I've always been like that. I've been an organiser. My job was to organise stuff down to details. You know, I believe in being early. I believe in being prepared. I've got, you know, 2 sets of strings, 3 sets of batteries, fuses, another guitar with me, absolutely everything, you know. And but the other thing is, it's not a question. I'm never really worried about playing guitar. I've usually got that covered. And if I make mistakes, I've been playing long enough that I can normally brush it over and people probably wouldn't notice, he says, with still a few to do. That's going to come back and bite me, isn't it? But my problem is they might not like what I'm doing because I've picked the wrong set list. Because I've got an 18-hour repertoire. You know, I can do 60 Beatles songs without having to use lyrics or anything. You know, and a lot of Paul Simon, a lot of James Taylor. And I tend to look around at the audience age, and so there's a downside. A lot of people sort of under, say, 35 are getting a little bit tired of listening to 60s stuff. But on the upside, I played a James Taylor at a private party with some people in their 20s. I played James Taylor's "You've Got a Friend," and then I did Paul Simon's "The Boxer," 2 of which I think are 2 of the best songs ever written by 2 of my favourite artists. And everybody in the room said, "That was really lovely. Are they yours? Did you write them?"
And you, of course, said
yes. I think, my goodness, am I really that old now that people have forgotten classics like that? You know?
That's good.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any strange requests? Do you get people coming up asking you to play certain types?
No. I do get, use my language carefully here on the radio, but I do get somewhat miffed when I'm asked for Elvis. The only Elvis I do is Oliver's Army, which is Elvis Costello. Yeah. Because it was frankly before my time. I'm old, but I'm not that old. And in all fairness, I don't have a voice that can carry ballads. There are many ballads that I like. You know, some of the songs like, you know, Bee Gees, for example. Love the Bee Gees. And songs like He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother. I love playing that. It's a sophisticated chord progression. which is what hooks me in the first place. And it's lovely, but I don't have the voice to carry it, you know. I make Bob Dylan sound like, you know, Botticelli or whatever his name is. No, I don't, for me, the song itself has got to be really interesting. I firmly agree with Peter Gabriel. There are a lot of great songs with poor lyrics, but there are no great songs with poor melodies. And it's, for me, I probably because I have the attention span of a gnat, very often I won't listen to a song twice unless I've been hooked by the music.
Yeah.
The lyrics are very much secondary. If I'm writing a song, I work on lyrics and I try and make something that's interesting, possibly a bit quirky. But I've mainly fired off, I've got the chord progression, that's what's got me going. I've worked my way around that and then figured some harmonies out. Which, as I think I said earlier on, I can't remember if we were on mic or not, but I'm increasingly writing instrumentals these days. You know, it's so nice to be able to put something down and in Logic on the computer and then pull up an orchestral section and play very simple piano chords and suddenly get this wonderful thing, you know. Glass of Merlot as well.
Perfect. Yeah.
I just need a lava lamp and then I shall be totally self-sufficient.
Right, time for another one, I think.
Okay. This is another song of mine. It's an imaginary song about ageing mods. I was very... it's not mod music, but although I had a Lambretta when I was 16, I wasn't really a mod in that respect. But they made a lot of good music. You know, Small Faces, Who, fabulous stuff, you know. And so this is a bit of a sort of a comedy song, imagining some well-to-do, middle-aged guys getting together. So this is called Weekend Smile.